marijuana-related issues. We don't just broadcast on the radio, we broadcast to the world. Online, on TV, on social media, on Facebook. You'll be all over. Imagine what your friends will say. And KCAA reaches over 5 million people on 3 radio stations. Join the staff on 1050 AM, 102.3 FM, and 106.5 FM. NBC Radio. Jump on the KCAA Express. Call 909-793-1065. That's 909-793-1065 and get ready to transmit.
If you're looking for a full or part-time sales position and you have radio, TV, or print media experience, KCAA has a great opportunity waiting for you that pays the highest commissions in the market. KCAA is the only station in the IE that broadcasts on 3 frequencies, so advertisers receive 3 ads for 1 low rate. This makes KCAA a must-buy for every local business. If you're interested in a sales position with us, email CEO@KCAAradio.com.
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Right before me, my newfound hippie side. Once ignored these conspiracies online. Out the window, visions of the earth. Sign me up now, make sure you use your smart. Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Would your children lie to see Mother Nature sigh?
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Welcome, everyone. It's Smart Health Talk. Yeah, your favorite radio show, right? Some of you are like, who the heck is this woman? Well, I'm a registered dietitian, and I'm not no spring chicken, I'll tell you that, but that's actually a good thing because I got some pretty good experience under my belt to give you the kind of advice that can help you hopefully make it to where I've made it and feeling as good as I'm feeling. And we'll have many more years past that because we want to keep you healthy and safe. You know, those are the kind of things we talk about here. A wide range of things in the news, great products, one of which we're going to be talking about today. And, it's flu season. There's like germs out there like crazy. Even every single day of the year, it's a problem. And most people, I'm a public health nut, okay? I'm also an expert, I would like to think. At least I worked hard enough to try and be an expert. And I tell you, public health is about prevention. And when you think about how horrible it is to be sick and what it means when you're sick, I mean, nothing gets done, right? Can't go to work, losing money. It's just not, it's never fun. Not only that, but it's dangerous. And there are actually flu strains out there that are hitting people pretty hard. We have a vulnerable part of the population that we really have to watch out for. And the thing is, many of us, we're getting the symptoms of the flu. We go into denial. And, next thing you know, we're, around other people, touching things that other people are maybe eating. Lots of things going on here, all right? And the thing is, we all can probably do a better job protecting everyone around us. We don't want to get sick, but if we do get sick, what kind of things should we be doing? And then towards the end of our show, we got a really special segment planned for you. And it's going to be about party time. Yeah. Party time with other ways of like protecting yourself. Because, you know, we go to these parties and like what food should you be eating? Of course, I probably have a couple of tips on how to keep the pounds off as well as you make it through these holiday seasons. But I've got some really great ideas if you're going to be the host, if you're bringing something to the office, when you're at parties, what kind of food should you choose to eat? What food should you be avoiding that have the potential to maybe be contaminated, that kind of thing. So we're going to be talking about that, but we have an expert on our show. And we're really excited to have Tim O'Connor. And he is from a company that has a product that as soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, now we're talking. This is the kind of product that I could actually stand behind and say, okay, this is good to use when you don't have water available to wash your hands. Because we know what's the number one public health message that I could give to you guys out there? That's right. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. We talked about this last week. First of all, wash your hands. And remember, not everyone's washing their hands. Okay, so if you end up with a knob to get out of the bathroom, be sure you grab a paper towel or something if you can't open it without using your hands, and cover that so that you're not touching the knob when you leave. That's like a really big one. But of course, washing your hands. Well, we don't always have an opportunity to have, you know, water and everything there. And by the way, water is better than nothing. Water actually can do a lot. Just because you don't have soap doesn't mean you shouldn't put your hands under the water and rinse them off. But we have a product that you can keep with you all the time when you're traveling, when you're at work, out shopping, all these different things. And it's convenient. And not only that, it's safe. And we're going to tell you why you're going to want to make this choice over the other choices. This is something I'm pretty serious about because we're creating antibiotic-resistant bacteria out there with some of these products and chemicals that they've been using in the products. So we're going to be learning about that. But if you want to protect yourself and your family, you don't want to get sick, okay? We've got lots of great tips for that. You want to have a good party, some good ideas for your party, but not just that, how to stay healthy. Even though you're going to be out partying and being around all kinds of different people and eating food, sharing foods, you know, these kind of things. What can you do to not get sick? Okay. We have Tim O'Connor here, and I have his product right here, and I think it's called Ellipto. Is that right?
That's correct, Elaine.
Okay, great. Welcome to the show, Tim.
Thanks for a lovely introduction.
Well, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Very well.
Great. So am I. And I told you I had been sick, and that's because, you know, someone in our family went to someone else's house where they had a bunch of relatives, little kids, were eating, carving pumpkins, you know, doing all of this stuff. And he first got a sore throat, which was probably strep. So that was a bacterial infection. Mm-hmm. And then after that, like a couple of days later, he started getting the flu. So I think he was exposed actually to multiple things at one time, which is definitely possible. And then,
absolutely. Yep.
And the mistake that he made, Tim, was he thought, oh, I feel better the next day. I've beat this. I'm good, right? You know, big mistake, okay? You don't just get over things that quickly. It did show that his immune system was working, which was pretty exciting, because so many people, their immune systems are so beat down nowadays with all these antibiotics, antibiotic-resistant bacteria in our food, and just people not using good sanitation. And
Correct.
is
Yep.
that, did you see that? Is that why you got in this business? Did you see just like go, oh my gosh, these people are just so not doing what they're supposed to be doing as far as like keeping the bugs under control?
Well, if I can tell a little story, I got into it because I was late in life in getting married, and my wife got pregnant even though she was never meant to get pregnant. Medically, she was told that she couldn't get pregnant, and all of a sudden she did.
Woo!
And of course, when you have a baby, that's the best thing since sliced bread, obviously.
Yes.
And when you have the baby, the first thing they tell you is on the change table you must have some sort of sanitization to wash your hands. So, of course, me being me, thought the best products are the ones the hospitals are using. I'm not using anything else, so I'm going to use what the hospital's using. And I ended up buying boxes of this stuff. I won't mention the name. But I started looking at the label and seeing what was on the product, and did some research and found that some of these ingredients were actually toxic. So even though I was sort of semi-effectively cleaning my hands, I was putting all these chemicals on. So the research got deeper, and all of a sudden I got a call from a friend investor of mine that said, I was actually in Australia. I lived most of my working life in America, but I went to Australia to get married.
No, you were in Australia? No, I
was in Australia.
I'm joking because of your accent.
So I was in Australia, and I got called about this IP, and I should do some research. So I did. I ended up a bit like the Gillette ad. I was so intrigued by it. I ended up buying the company. Well, it was actually a bit of IP. I purchased the IP, and I created a whole range of products that were not toxic, because after doing the research on all these ingredients, your skin is the second most effective way of absorbing into your body. So I created all these products based on natural ingredients. And that's how I got started, basically because of my daughter.
You know, I have heard so many stories that children having a child has been a motivator for starting many companies.
Absolutely.
Because we go out there, and I had my kids over 30 years ago, and I was super stubborn. I had them at home with a midwife and no drugs, and made all my own organic baby food and never bought formula and just like all of these things. But actually, those are all the right things. Those are all the things that I would still advise, new parents to do. I mean, if you can. I just don't like it that babies are the only healthy patient at a hospital. You're going in there, and we got what you've heard of those diseases in the hospital, right? Right, Tim?
Oh, absolutely. Look, when I go to the
hospital,
I'm pathetic with the doctors and nurses who don't wash their hands.
And there's a name for those diseases. And it's like really hard for them to get rid of them.
Yeah.
I had to learn that at one time. I'm trying to remember what that name is, but
yes, there's a staphylococcus infection that I got because a doctor didn't wash or a nurse didn't wash their hands correctly, and I ended up getting it.
In the hospital?
In the hospital, yeah.
Oh wow! What happened after that? Did they have to give you antibiotics and?
No, I went back and lifted up my hand, which was going dark, and I said, I think I've got a staphylococcus infection because because I'm in this area, in this business, I sort of knew something was wrong. So when I went back to the emergency department, I put my hand up and I said, I think we need to get this sorted straight away, and they let me in within seconds.
Wow!
But not many people would know that.
Oh, was it flesh-eating bacteria?
Yeah, they put me on an antibiotic drip, and I was okay. But if I didn't know, I wouldn't have done that.
Yes.
But going back to your point in the introduction, you said the best way to clean your hands is obviously to wash them with soap and water. That's true, but when you can't get to them, you really should, whatever you buy for a hand sanitizer or a hand spray, just read the label, because you'd be horrified at what these companies hide in their ingredients list. It's quite alarming for me, being in the business, but it's also very difficult, and it has been for Ellipdol, to create a product, a sanitizer that fundamentally works well, with no toxic chemicals. It's a tough project.
How do you start? What did you have a product that already had been started when you bought the company?
Yeah, well, it was just IP. There was no company. I looked at the IP and I purchased the IP, and then we got investment, and and the startup phase started. But it had a basic ingredient of eucalyptus oil, and eucalyptus oil is known to be an anti-inflammatory. It's known to boost immune functions. It's known to be a moisturizer, and you add that with pure alcohol. A lot of people think alcohol dries your hands. Well, it does if you just use certain alcohols and nothing else with it. So there's a lot of companies that create sanitizers with an alcohol, but with a toxic, they call it denaturant, so they can sell it over the counter. So you have to denature the alcohol. And a lot of people don't like sanitizers because they think, oh, I'm not using a sanitizer because it's got alcohol and it's going to dry my hands and it's going to destroy my hands. Well, it's not necessarily the alcohol. If it's pure, it's all the ingredients they put with it. And that's the fundamental problem. So when I got involved in it, I was determined to use the basic ingredients of a hand sanitizer, which is alcohol, and an ingredient that would not only moisturize your hand or your skin, but also help in that kill factor. So we're probably I'm going out on a limb here, but would be probably one of the only natural hand sanitizers on the global market with a 99.9999% efficacy, which is pretty much unheard of. So most of the hand sanitizers out there are 99.9, but we're at 99.9999.
What does that mean?
It's a log 7 kill. It's how effective the kill is. They measure it out of thousands of germs on your hands, and you're left with one, which is a log 1 or log 2, and then a log 3 and a log 4 and a log 5. So we have tested it in laboratories where our kill factor is very, very strong. It's very, very high. Whereas a lot of the other sanitizers are just a 99.9, which is effective. It's better than not doing nothing. But it's more what you've got to watch out for is what ingredients you are putting on your skin. And I'm not just talking about sanitizers. You're more of an expert on this probably than I am. But there's from skin moisturizers to makeup removal to some form of additives you put on your skin. All these products out there, you put on your skin, and then weeks later you find that your skin starts to peel, or it starts to get red, or you get a scratch. You start scratching it because it's reacting to your skin. It's what you're putting on your skin that's really what you got to watch.
Well, there's something I could add to that, and there a lot of times citric acid. Is used as a preservative, and citric acid will turn your skin red.
Yeah,
it will irritate your skin, and it can get like bright pink even. And people may think it's like the actual product, but it's probably the citric acid as the preservative in the product that caused that particular reaction. But you don't have any citric acid. And eucalyptus, I mean, people love eucalyptus. When I go over to Glen Ivy, there's like a hot springs spa with the natural hot springs. They have a steam room, and my daughter actually worked there, and she'd go get the bottle of eucalyptus oil and sit there and spray it, like crazy in there because she had the bottle, and people loved it, they're like, yes, more eucalyptus. And I think I shared with you that one of my most popular pins, and please join us on Pinterest, everyone. I have so many pins, I don't even know what it is, but anyway, when I remember this one pin, it was just like when I first started using Pinterest, and I thought, oh, that sounds really great, and it was just eucalyptus branches with the leaves on it hanging from a shower.
Yep, absolutely.
And people love that pin, and I'm like, wow, they really get that eucalyptus oil is great for you. And I love that idea of putting the leaves like hanging from the shower, the branches hanging from the shower. So you're in there taking the shower and the eucalyptus is steaming and opening your lungs up. Because that's something that it does, right? It opens your lungs, helps you breathe better.
Well, it's the way the way we've got our product working is the alcohol will do the kill on your skin. I hate using the word kill, but it effectively destroys the germs on your skin. The oil will seep through all those layers of your skin and get to what's called the membrane layer. And what happens with a lot of chemicals that you put on your skin is it'll end up seeping through to that membrane layer and start etching away at it and opening it up. Now, we're talking very tiny, but when it starts to open up, the body reacts by telling you through the skin, it goes red, it starts peeling, there's something wrong. What we've known that the eucalyptus oil does is it actually triggers what's called ceramide, which is a natural healing agent the body produces. So when you use our product together with the alcohol and the natural, by the way, it's natural alcohol. It's not an isopropyl alcohol or a petroleum-based alcohol. It's a natural alcohol from sugarcane or corn. So it'll do the kill, and the oil seeps through your skin and triggers ceramide. And the smell or the odor of the oil, which is why a lot of people put in showers and saunas and spas, it's a dopamine trigger. Oh. And dopamine is it will relax you.
Yes,
so
that's why we
in very small quantities, obviously, but it tends to release dopamine. So you get this moisturizing, healing capability, and you've also got this dopamine release. And some of our customers use our spray, which is the hand sanitizer spray. It's not the gelling, the gel. It's just more of a liquid, and they spray it in the shower when the steam starts to come. And they breathe that in, which again opens up the lungs, which is what you just said.
So that's like an additional benefit while you're sanitizing, and just to let everyone know, triclosan is what was the antibacterial go-to for a long period of time. It was in your toothpaste, Colgate toothpaste, cleans your bacteria. All these hand sanitizers, the soaps, had triclosan. And then we discovered, hey, this stuff's causing antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which is one of the worst things that could happen, okay? Because if you're sick and no antibiotics will work, you're going to die. Good chance. So anyway, what happened was, first of all, I don't know if you know this, Tim, but I'm pretty sure it was the state of Minnesota that took the first action against triclosan. And the state, they banned triclosan in the whole state. And as a result of that, the trickle-down effect was the FDA was forced to react. And it's very hard for a company to adhere to the rules of just one state, because then they have to, that's what happened with the GMO. Vermont passed the law, ready to implement it, and they immediately passed a federal law, made us all wait for another 2 years to get the GMO label when they were ready to do it in Vermont. But anyway, states can trigger federal legislation. And so the FDA actually banned triclosan. So the question is, what are they putting in there instead? Well, I'll tell you what they're putting in there. I have it in front of me right now, and I don't even know if I can pronounce this stuff, but it's benzalkonium chloride, benzethonium chloride, or chlorozenol. Okay, those are the three things. And get this, Tim. It says the FDA has given companies another year to provide data on their safety and effectiveness. So they pretty much allowed them, because they banned it. So it's like, okay, we're going to use this stuff instead. But they have no proof whatsoever that it's even effective and safe. And yet the FDA allowed them to start putting these chemicals in the products. So, I mean, this is terribly, we don't even know it's okay or not, that they just said, okay, you need something, so we'll let you use these things. We don't know safety and effectiveness. And still, I mean, I don't know if they've still even pushed them to provide this information. This was in 2016. Has this information been even provided that this stuff is okay? It says, I have another one that says companies replace triclosan with unproven chemicals.
Yeah.
So this
Yep.
we're like guinea pigs, you know. Oh, these
Yep.
companies don't have anything. Oh, well, we'll just let them put whatever in there, and we'll figure out if it's safe later, okay? Because they
Yeah.
need something, and we don't want these products to go down. We don't want Unilever, you know, mega corporation all over the world that has done so many bad things. Child labor, dumping poisons and just leaving it there and letting the local people just deal with their poison, kind of a thing. There's actually, I was reading that for the first time, oil company executives are being taken to court for bribery charges of actually in Nigeria. And this is like, we've been talking about this because we have our government being used by Monsanto and these GMO companies to force people in Africa and other countries to adopt GMOs. And if they don't, they punish them with threats. We're going to take your money away. We're going to destroy you with the World Bank. You know, we're going to do all these things. And so they knew that the people didn't want it and the government didn't want it. Well, not the government, because they were obviously able to be bought. But they gave like 4 or 5 people over $1 billion. 4 or 5
Yeah.
people, $1 billion to have access to a Nigerian offshore oil well, one of the biggest in the world, and paid off a couple of people within the government. Nigerian people get zero. They get zero. So these
Yep.
this Italian court is taking these oil executives to court and hope to get jail time and a huge fine for what they did. But these guys got caught, you know. But what else is going out there? We're putting our trust in these corporations with these products. And here's a product that, I mean, it has just, you know, 3 simple ingredients, but it has the most effective because, you know what, nature made a perfect product, didn't they, Tim?
Well, absolutely. Look, the other thing that, just to go on your comment before, we've registered under FDA. We've registered in Australia and TGA. In Canada, we're registering. In China, we're registering. And then we've also registered under EWG, which is the Environmental Working Group, I think it's called, which has a definition of toxicity level. So for all your listeners out there, if they're not too sure what's in the product, they can actually go onto the EWG website and check toxicity levels. So 1 is it's got hardly any toxicity, if anything, and number 10 is the worst. And they put the products on there and evaluate the products, so you can check. But there are many companies out there that don't do what we've done, or a lot of companies do and register on FDA, because if you just want to put your product on the shelf and you don't go through FDA, you don't have to support any regulation. You just chuck it on the shelf. So you can put anything in there. And that's one of the things that I get frustrated with. On top of that, when you do go to FDA and get registered, they have these peel-back labels. Mm-hmm. So companies will put in ethyl alcohol, and you think, oh, that's pretty good. It's natural alcohol from sugarcane or corn. They won't tell you how much they're putting in there. And then when you peel back the label, how many people peel back the label and look? When you peel back the label, you'll see right down the bottom there under other ingredients, isopropyl alcohol, petroleum. You might as well just go to a gas station, pour the gas on your hands.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. Like, because I'm actually sitting here, I told you I had read a study that, like Purell, that product that when people were using Purell and then touching something that contained BPA, which is an endocrine disruptor, that the chemicals in the Purell made the skin, like you were just talking about the skin and how absorptive it is, right, Tim? This Purell made the skin even more absorptive. It opened up the pores and allowed this BPA to penetrate down into the skin. So the people that were using the Purell in their work and sanitizing their hands on a regular basis, especially those in the hospital, and then touching something with BPA, and that could be a cash register receipt, it could be a credit card receipt, they're absorbing larger amounts of this BPA than they normally would because the Purell opened up the pores, and this is causing cancer, especially in men. The men had even higher rates of cancer. I remember this very well because I found it extremely upsetting. And I know that I've also read reports where the alcohol had made children sick, and I wanted to understand, why does that happen, and why would that not happen with your product?
Well, we use all natural. We all use all natural ingredients.
But you use alcohol, so what's the difference between? And you said
so you've got alcohol and you have these denaturants. So if you just used alcohol, you'd find that it would be okay. But what happens is, in order to sell alcohol products over the counter, you have to denature them, and that's where the problems start. So these companies out there, in order to use a denaturant, it costs you money. So I'll give you an example. We were dealing with a very large retail chain, huge, 3,000 stores. They said, your product sells for X dollars. This product sells for like cents. So no one's going to buy your product. And I said, but that product has got all these toxic chemicals in it. It's got alcohol in it, but it's denatured with all these chemicals. It's destroying your skin. Oh, we don't care. It's just cheaper. So that's the challenge for us, that we've gone one step further, or challenge for companies that really are making natural products that are good. I'll get to your question. But when you use pure alcohol and you use a pure natural ingredient, of course your costs are going to go up a little bit. But we use a denaturant that is eucalyptus oil. So we don't use any chemicals in our product. We use pure alcohol from sugarcane or corn, and we use pure eucalyptus oil. We've taken it one step further. Eucalyptus oil in your supermarkets or your retail places, or where you go and get your natural oils, you'll find that you can buy eucalyptus globulus. We take it one step further, and we filter that down to eucalyptol, which is where our name came from, and that is the pure form of eucalyptus oil. So we've not only gone one step to make sure we use a natural oil as a denaturant, but we've gone to that extra step going, well, let's refine that natural oil so we get all the impurities out of it, and use the eucalyptol and use that as a denaturant for the alcohol. Now, I hope that sort of answered your question.
Yeah, well, another thing that you said, Tim, that I thought was really key is that you talk about, because I want people to understand that all of these things are not created equal. Just like Tim was talking about, this need for the denaturing, but they don't want to pay that money. They don't want to do the extra steps. But like, for example, something that was a shocker to me is when you go buy like vinegar at the store, like distilled vinegar. I always had this picture in my mind. Oh, vinegar is coming from like probably, like food that they fermented down to make vinegar, like food that they wouldn't want to sell in the store, that kind of thing. I was like so stupid because what did I find out? That there is like a product that is from a more natural source, but to tell you the truth, I still don't know really where they're making that from. But I do know that there is another vinegar. There's like food grade vinegar, and then there's another vinegar that actually comes from a petroleum source. Mm-hmm. I was like, what?
Yep.
Vinegar is made from oil? And I just, it just didn't even really compute in my head. I had to force my brain to accept it because I was like, no, that's not, no, because I'm a big apple cider vinegar fan, of course. I'm thinking apples, that's how the vinegar happens. But No, it's like you could be buying vinegar and it could actually be from a petroleum source. Put that on your salad. Well, actually, it says on it that it's not like food grade. I think it does say that because more people are using vinegar for cleaning and stuff like that. So I figure they probably said, oh, if they're just using it for cleaning, we don't have to go that extra step, and we can use this cheaper source to make vinegar if they're going to use it for cleaning, and they won't know any different. They won't even know. They won't read it on the label.
Well, then, Elaine, you've just brought up another interesting comment too about the kitchen when you clean the kitchen. So you have all these wipes that are out on the shelf, kitchen wipes, clean your stove or clean your bench top. But if you read a lot of the label, you'll find on the back it'll say use gloves. Make sure you use gloves. And there was a company that we researched, I won't mention the name, the company we researched out of the UK that had, and this is sort of getting a bit deep, but it had a product that was for cleaning in hospitals, and it was a hard surface cleaner. And it had the regulation, approved by the appropriate authorities. And we looked up this, they call it a safety data sheet. So if you ever want to look at what's in the product, you can research what's called the SDS sheet, and that'll tell you exactly what's in the product and the hazardous content and what you should do if you get any eyes and that sort of thing. So we looked up the data sheet. Do you know their hand product, the hand wipe, which didn't have any warning on the label, was exactly the same as their hard surface wipe?
As a what?
As their cleaning wipe. So their cleaning wipe...
Oh, and their hand wipe was the same thing.
Same thing. So their cleaning wipe had all this warning, don't get it in your eyes, make sure you use gloves, make sure you wash your hands. If you get it on your face, wipe your face. If you get it on your skin, make sure you clean your skin. And then they had this line of hand wipes. And when you research the data sheet, it was exactly the same product.
Wow.
And this is one of the challenges, I think, for manufacturers like Ellipdol, but also consumers. How do you educate? This is what we're going through at the moment. Everybody that takes our product loves the product, but how do you educate everybody out there that, just before you buy the product, make sure you read the ingredients, read the label. You'd be at the supermarket for hours. But it's true, you've got to read, just have a quick look at that label, and if it's a peel it back, and just be aware. My feeling is if you don't understand what the ingredients are, you shouldn't buy it.
Well, and what I love about the smell that comes from your product, it's a natural smell from eucalyptus. It's real.
Natural smell. Lavender is natural smell, yep, absolutely.
And so many of these other products, to cover up the nasty smell of what they have fake scents in them, which are called phytates, and these are hormone disruptors, like
right.
the BPA. And these hormone disruptors can make you fat, everybody. Just to let you know, all those fake perfumes, they make you fat in your laundry soap, in your shampoo, because they're disrupting your hormones. And your hormones have a lot to do with regulating your body fat and your weight. So it gets really screwed up. And there's none of that in there. And you have, I have the products right here because you have like a nice one right here for wipes that you can just keep in the kitchen. Or close by if you have a baby, on the baby changing table, that kind of a thing. And then you have people can get the individual wipes that you can keep like in your purse or the diaper bag, or if you got kids, you got to keep them everywhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's always an emergency.
We've created a little range of products, and we've even created a little travel kit so you can put it in the purse.
Yeah, the travel kit was great. I've got the stuff from the travel kit here, and I like that it has. Well, you've got a big thing of wipes and the single ones, but these bottles are really great because when you go through the checkpoint at the airport, is it 3 ounces or 2 ounces?
It's 2 ounces. You can. It says 2 ounces, or what is it? 100 ml. So it's probably 3 ounces. You're right. It's 3 ounces. You can take 3 ounces.
Okay, and you have like a 2 ounce, because I would bring the 2 ounce because I'm like, okay, I got 2 ounces here. Don't take my stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's like I even got less than what I'm supposed to have. So, and you have a spray and then you have a gel.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
the only difference between the gel and the spray is that gel's got a gelling agent. But that's the other thing that that your listeners should also try when you get the listeners that have a sanitizer. Put it on your hands and hold your hand up and watch what happens. It usually just falls off your skin. It'll just get off your skin. My reason is it doesn't want to be on your skin, so it's trying to get away. But it shows you the quality of the product. Ours, it sticks to your skin long enough to wipe it in. If I could go back to one little thing you said, Elaine, which I think is really, really important, and it's our scientist refers to it as the beautiful liquid crystal arrangement of your skin. And what these chemicals are doing is breaking down that crystal arrangement in your skin. They call it the barrier layer. And when you were talking about that other company that when you use it and you touch something else which has another ingredient on it, it makes it even worse. Well, what's actually happening is these companies are producing products that are breaking down that barrier layer and opening it up, and then you'll go to something else like a skin creamer or a moisturizer, and that'll have something in it, and all of a sudden it just gets worse and worse, and before you know it, you've got some form of contact dermatitis, you've got redness, peeling of your skin, and it's just gets worse and worse, and the next step is to go to your dermatologist, which will probably say, get rid of all your cleansers, get rid of all your creams, and let's try and find out what's actually causing the problem. But it's all these products, well, not all these, but a lot of these products are destroying that as Barry refers to it, the liquid crystal arrangement. And that's what's causing the issues. And we don't. And going back to your point about the benzalkonium chloride and these other ingredients, we don't know what these new products are doing. In 10 years, 15 years, 20 years' time, we may. But how many times have you gone to a party or you've gone to some place where they've talked about some person that's just passed away or got sick? And you think, hang on a minute, he used to do marathons, he ate really well, he was always fit, and then he got some disease that almost killed him. Well, let's work out what he was putting on his head for his shampoo, or what he was putting on his skin as a cream or a moisturizer. And until we sort of do a lot more research, these companies are continually putting out products that are disastrous for our skin and causing major issues.
No, you're so right, Tim, and I've really done a lot of research on this, and we have this natural bacterial layer even on the outside of our skin that acts as a barrier and protects us from things that are invading, and that other layer that you were talking about, that these products are breaking down. When you talked about getting that flesh-eating bacteria, when you're breaking your skin down like that, you're making it vulnerable for things to get in. And something like that flesh-eating bacteria, I mean, all you need is a little tiny opening. And it's not just that, but some of the other papilloma viruses. There's like 100 different kind that can just wreak havoc on your skin and cause all kinds of problems, lead to cancer. And these get in through an opening in your skin. Right. Anytime your skin is compromised in some way, a cut, something like that, you are now vulnerable to something getting in. Those bad guys out there, they love it. When there's like an opening, they're like, yeah, we can get in, man. We could like take over once we're in. We're going to cause some bad damage, boy. Just let us in that slot, in that little crack, man. And it doesn't take very much. You just watch like 1,000 Ways to Die. Have you ever heard of that show?
No, but I'm also following you, because what then becomes, when you break down that skin, you become then a carrier. So when you shake someone's hand or you touch someone else, you're now a carrier of something that's in your skin that's happily living there, and you go and shake someone's hand, as I said, and now you're transferring that to somebody else.
Absolutely. And that's what I have really come to terms with on how easily. That is why half of the world population is infected. And I just think that we could do a way better job of sitting around infecting each other with these viruses, and that can lead to all different kinds of problems. And we're not doing a good enough job. And we talked, at the beginning of the show, I was talking about like party time, being responsible. Like if you know that you're sick, you're going to be handling food. There's ways to take extra precautions, wearing gloves, having like sanitizers like this, so that every time that you're touching your face, that you're touching something else that doesn't involve the food, a doorknob, or you bend down, you pick something up off the floor. All these different things, you have now have a chance to contaminate your hands, and you need to rewash your hands. Even if you have gloves on, you got to wash those, and people don't realize how these things are transferred. I mentioned to Nick, our engineer here once, a really fun game to play is to put some glitter on one of your hand and then shake hands with somebody, and then have that person shake hands and go around a circle. It's a great kids game because it shows how bacteria is so easily transferred, and that's exactly how it's done. We're breathing on each other, we're touching each other, we're touching things other people touched. And it's dog out there. I mean, you can get hepatitis. There's so many different things. And just to have something, I love that you're using eucalyptus. Eucalyptus, I raise monarchs, is symbiotic with monarchs. They live in the eucalyptus trees over the winter.
Right. Yep.
And the eucalyptus tree is protective and symbiotic with the monarch. It protects them. It feeds them. It has like special things that it does for the monarch. And I think it probably does really special things for us. And like you said, it's not that irritation of like you put something on your skin and then it starts getting irritated. Again, as soon as you start getting that irritation, you've now opened yourself up.
Correct.
To getting anytime you're getting these allergic, and I just feel so bad for people that have like psoriasis and eczema, and they probably never think, oh, what if I went on an all organic diet and got all these pesticides and maybe quit drinking that cheap alcohol that I'm drinking?
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, people, this stuff is like bad. You need to like clean up your body and don't. And then the thing is, people get started and they expect, years of doing the wrong things, right? And they expect everything to disappear overnight.
Yeah,
oh, well, I did it for a week and I didn't see any change. It's like, dude, man, like, this like took years to get to this point. It's not going to go away overnight. Would you please, you've got to redo your whole body. It's kind of like you got to build new cells without the pesticides in them. So, but there's besides.
Well, you wouldn't go and put vegetable oil in your car. You wouldn't throw donuts in your car. Why? Not just donuts, but if you look at all the stuff that we eat on a daily basis, yet we're so pathetic about what we put in our car. It's got to be the 91% or whatever it is. But people are throwing stuff down their throat, and they don't care what's going down, and all of a sudden they get sick, and they wonder why.
And they don't even know where it comes from. I tell you, this body right here, only the best. Okay? All right. I love my body because that's what I live in every single second of the day. And you better believe I'm taking care of it because I don't want to. I've worked in a hospital. I've seen people sick. I don't want it. I don't want that to happen. If I can stop it and prevent it, I'm going to do that. And you don't even realize like these diseases that we were talking about that can be transmitted just even by skin to skin contact. They can even lead to cancer. Yeah, so this is like so important to like Be aware. That's what Tim and I have been working on, getting into your brain today. It's like you're going to become aware. You're going to become aware of these other sanitizer products. When you look at them on the shelf, what are you going to think? Oh, yeah, that has those experimental chemicals in there that we don't even know if it's safe. We don't even know if it works. And we're being used as guinea pigs. I'm not buying that stuff. You know, why would I buy that and put that on my skin? Especially when you have a choice. And
Absolutely.
It's ELYPTOL. ELYPTOL. And it's just that.com to get to your website, right? Where do people buy your products, Tim?
You can in California. You can buy it at Erewhon. You can buy it in Sprouts. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it directly from our website. What I could do is set up a coupon code for your users, KCAA, and they can get a 20% discount. If you'd like me to do that, I can do that.
Oh, I could post that. Yeah, I could go post that on all my Facebook groups. I have like 80 of them, so I can share that. Because are you guys available nationwide or in different?
Yeah, nationwide, absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
nationwide.
that's awesome.
Absolutely.
And what's your top selling product? What is it that people love, and can't live without?
The consumers, the consumer side, they love the 10-packet wipes because they keep them in their car, in their purse.
Oh yeah, I have that right here.
The little 10 mil spray for the women, particularly in their little satchel, purse satchel, and also the 2-ounce spray and the 2-ounce gel with the carabiner clip. A lot of the mums with young kids hang the little 2-ounce gel and the 2-ounce spray on the what we call in Australia pram, but it's called, what is it called, trolley, for the baby. I've gone blank.
These are stocking stuffers, man. These little bottles are great stocking stuffers because you want to watch out for your kids, right? You know, and if you get this, it looks cool. Okay, the packaging looks cool. They're not going to be ashamed to carry it around. But I think your kids will like it. I think they will. And so, we just want to find ways to protect our kids, and that's a great way to protect it. And remember to be careful at parties. Don't be double dipping. Don't be eating things that other people are putting your fingers in. Stay away from those things. Go for single serve type things that no one else has been touching. Okay, Tim, this has been such a great conversation. Thank you so much for joining us. Tim O'Connor, everyone. And I'm going to spell it for you, ELYPTOL, Eclipto. And a great product, everyone. Buy that instead of that Purell and all that other stuff, okay? All right, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back again next Tuesday. Check us out on social media and our Blue Monarch Project website as well. We got our monarchs at home, and we'll be releasing a bunch more. We got about 150 there, so stay with us, everyone. Thanks so much. I'm Elaine McFadden. Bye.
Make sure you use your smart. Take a walk on the wild side.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 106.